The Owl House by Dana Terrace, a horror fantasy comedy hybrid on the Disney Channel, and one that I went into completely blind. I hadn't seen any promotional material at all leading up to the premiere. No sneak peeks, no trailers, no TV spots, no nothing. The most I saw were posters and articles, and even then, I didn't dive too far into those. This looks like a show that the company seems to have quite a bit of faith in. They must, if they're willing to renew it for a second season way before the first one even starts. That's been happening a lot lately with Disney shows, huh? It happened with Star vs. the Forces of Evil, it happened with DuckTales, it happened with Big City Greens, it happened with Amphibia, and now it's happened again. Not that I'm complaining or anything. More stuff for me to sink my teeth into during the coronavirus outbreak. If only Wander were treated that well. Yeah, I'm still salty about that. Now what's the show about? Well, The Owl House follows a hyper-imaginative teenager, Luz Nocida, happening upon a world that's different from hers, called the Boiling Isles. There she meets the powerful renegade witch, Ida the Owl Lady, and her demon companion King, and all his delusions of grandeur. Already feeling more at home in this brand new world compared to her own, Luz entrusts herself into Ida's tutelage in the hopes of becoming a witch someday. I may not have been keeping track with the pre-release of this show, but by the time of the premiere, I can tell you that I've definitely been following it closely. The sense of fun, adventure, and self-discovery that you'd come to expect from anything by Disney are present and accounted for here, only now with a fantasy and horror coat of paint. It's not too different from Gravity Falls as far as supernatural themes and Disney programming go, which makes sense given Dana Terrace's previous work as a storyboard artist for that show. Though given the Owl House's genre, it's only fitting that it embraces its supernatural themes more. Now for the characters. Luz is your quintessential relatable lead. Plucky, outgoing, optimistic, and kind-hearted, but occasionally stubborn, biting off so much more than she can chew. Luckily, she is far from being vanilla in personality, and is shown to have the compatible chemistry with anyone she interacts with.
Wow, there must be a reason for that, right? Why am I here? What if I, Luz Nocida, average teen, actually had a predetermined path of greatness? Just like Azora. Should I be full of optimism and goodness, like the good witch Azora? Or should I be like a bad girl chosen one with black nail polish and a mysteriously withdrawn attitude? I act like I don't care, but I secretly do. I'm Luz, and you're Willow, right? What you did with that flower and those plants, it was... Wow. I get it, Ida. Coven's bad, individualism good. But I'm still figuring this world out, so I'm going to go in there and make up my own mind, okay?
Bonus points for both her Hispanic American background, specifically Dominican American, and the show not needlessly glamorizing her race and or treating it like a personality. As a side note, I give similar props to Matt Braley for Amphibia and its protagonist, the Thai American Anne Bunchoy. Ida is her own pleasant surprise. The first time she showed up on screen, I was like, ugh. Great. Another one of those aloof, self-serving seasoned veterans that's an outward asshole but a good guy inside. Oh, she's aloof, and she does have a self-serving streak, that's for sure. But to my delight, she's not a full-blown tsundere or totally selfish. She could have been made one of those overly cynical types who abandons those that are supposed to be close to them, only to have a change of heart a few moments later. Thank God she's not like that, because that is a worn-out trope if I've ever seen one.
Oh, dear child. I'm not like you. I'm Ida, the Owl Lady, the most powerful witch on the Boiling Isles.
A witch?
I am a respected, feared... Oh, look at us, Luz. King and I don't have much in this world. We only have each other. So if that dumb crown is important to him, it's important to me. Besides, us weirdos have to stick together, you know? You didn't think this was real, did you?
What?
This map is bunk. There's no lake with a celestial staff on the Boiling Isles. I would have stolen it ages ago. Don't worry. Couple more months here and you won't look like such a mark.
Cocky, hot-headed, talented, conniving, yet loyal to both Luz and King all the same, without making any bones about it, while still having much room to better herself as a person, Ida is a refreshing take on the wise old cynic archetype. And King? Come on. How can you not be enamored by this bundle of adorableness? Don't you just want to grab him by the cheeks and pinch them till they turn red like a tomato? I sure as shit would.
Soon, Mr. Ducky, we shall drink the fear of those who mocked us! Yes, yes! I can feel my powers returning! You there, nightmare critter! I shall call you Francois, and you shall be a minion in my army of darkness! Ha ha! I am so funny! Well, Prince Jr. training complete. Go forth! make the world tremble at your feet. Worm stubs. Are you bestowing gifts upon me? Yes! I accept your offering. The King of Demons is back!
You gotta love the contrast between his boisterous, sometimes combative mannerisms and his actual non-threatening stature. It makes for some amusing, endearing imagery in the show's own twisted little way, and it's all brought together by Alex Hirsch's performance. The design of the Boiling Isles is also worth bringing up, both the place itself and its inhabitants. They range from typical fantasy fare to really macabre monstrosities, with the ones who live in civilization belying human, quote-unquote, qualities, from speech patterns to body language. When I say that these creatures can get wild, they can get really wild. It's a nice mix of mundane, awe-inspiring, and terrifying, with a touch of quirkiness to them that makes the Owl House feel alive. But of course, this larger-than-life fantasy horror setting has to have more than one parallel to the human world. Given our present day and age, you can guess for yourself where these parallels mostly lie. Yeah, the internet, social media, modern technology, yada yada yada. You got smartphones and social media sites like Penstagram, and the teenage characters being obsessed with all this shit. Blech. It is what it is. At least it doesn't completely take you out of the immersion, and it's not as obnoxious as, say, DuckTales and Gumball can get, for all the affection I have towards those shows. And like with those shows, this pop culture integration is not that much of a deal breaker for me, nor is it really one at all. Unless it becomes overbearing later on, at best, it's an inconsequential detail that doesn't stop me from enjoying the show. One last aspect about the Owl House that I commend it for is its overarching themes, the central ones being individuality versus conformity and chaos versus order. Now, because this is Disney we're talking about here, the show isn't always subtle with how it tackles these themes. Why does Luz choose to stay in the Boiling Isles? Because it's a place where she can truly be herself and discover more about herself.
I know you got your head cut off and we started some kind of prison riot, but this was the most fun I've ever had. I don't fit in at home. You don't fit in here. If I stay, we could not fit in together.
Why is Ida a fugitive constantly on the run from the law? Because she chose to be her own person instead of conforming to a rigid societal structure.
From now on, that kid will only be able to make illusions. Since I never joined a coven, I can do every kind of magic. That's why I'm the most powerful witch on the Boiling Isles.
Do you think I'll ever be a true witch?
What? I don't know. Who's a true witch? These suckers? According to them, that means being in a coven, but I never joined one and I'm better than all of them combined. You gotta be your own witch.
The obvious lack of subtlety aside, I can always appreciate such timely themes being addressed. And no other demographic are these themes best shown to than teens and preteens, the most formative phases of a person's life. It also helps that the show's approach to these themes is still miles more nuanced than in some past Disney ventures. My only hope is that there's no bias in favor of one side of the argument, while the other side is turned into a straw man, lest the discourse collapse on itself. The Owl House is a welcome addition to Disney's animated television catalog. It's a fun-filled magical romp that's every bit as wondrous as it is horrifying yet comedic. And its brightly animated high concept belies a timely, if somewhat in-your-face thematic structure that's held together by a compelling cast of characters. I seriously can't wait for more, and I urge anyone who hasn't looked at it yet to give it a chance. While waiting for the rest of the season though, I want to discuss the show a bit further, where it is now, and how I feel about it. Obviously, I'll be going into spoiler territory, so I'm making this disclaimer now in the interest of those who don't want to be spoiled. Until then, I'm the one and only CR Martin, and I'll see you guys later. Ciao for now.